Everybody, welcome to LaPorte ISD and thank you for being here. It is 7:10 p.m. August 8th, 2023, and I call this meeting to order. Note that the meeting has been posted in a manner required by law. The Board of Trustees of LaPorte Independent School District is now convened. Let the record show that Trustees Perez, Crutcher, Shafi, Yonda, and Hanks are in attendance and a quorum is present. Unfortunately, Ms. Thompson is a little under the weather. She'll be listening. And Mr. Martin had a conflict and will be unable to attend tonight. So, as LaPorte ISD Board of Trustees, every student success is our number one priority. We are here to set goals, adopt policy, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and communicate the district's vision and success to the community. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of this district are the sole responsibility of the superintendent. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. School board meetings are open to all who wish to attend to hear the matters discussed. However, it's okay. However, audience participation is limited to the patron presentation portion of the meeting, and board members may not respond to those comments made in the public comment section. These proceedings may be recorded, and I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking. I would like to thank you all for your participation here this evening, and your interest in LaPorte Independent School District. At this time, will you please stand for the presentation of the colors led by the LaPorte High School ROTC. The color guard is being commanded by Cadet Taylor Pugh. The Texas flag is being carried by Cadet Dylan Thatcher. The guards are Cadet Mitchell Springer and Cadet Aiden Trent. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Very colored. Colored. Post. A. Six. Present arm. Order arm. Center face. One time march. Left, right. Left, right. Left, right. Left, right. Left, right. Forward march.
We now please bow your head as tonight's invocation will be given by Trustee Melissa Crutcher.
Dear Heavenly Father, we praise you for gifting mankind with curiosity and learning. It is with that foundation that the education system was created, giving this board and administration the privilege of serving our students. As we enter into this school year, we do so with faithful hearts and open minds to make decisions that reflect the mantra, above all, students first. Lord, we ask that you help us work in our students to prepare them for who they are meant to be, fill them with a thirst of knowledge, give them peace and comfort in their classrooms, help them develop positive relationships with their classmates and teachers that will last a lifetime. Allow us opportunities to grow the whole child. Each student is a unique gift, so we ask that you meet their individual needs to ensure that they have a successful year in your eyes. God of learning, grant our staff an abundance of your wisdom. Prepare their hearts to welcome and love. Give them grace in their encounters, courage to face challenges, and strength when they feel weak. And Father, please strengthen and protect our district and community from anyone or anything that may seek to do harm. Be a refuge, calming presence, and beacon for all those who need you most. Lord, you are working at LaPorte ISD. We see your blessings every day, and we are grateful for your abundant love and guidance. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Melissa. You may all be seated. We're going to move on to item 5, public recognitions. Recognitions by our Director of Communication, Mr. Adam Holland.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. This time of year, we've never really had student recognitions because school hasn't started yet, but we have a special treat tonight because we have some exceptional students that deserve to be recognized. And with that, I would like for Mr. Carlin Grammer, there you are.
Good evening. This summer we had 9 students who graduated from LaPorte High School after the school year ended and during summer school, and we want to recognize them. I would like to say a couple things real quickly though. You know, most of our students get through the school, you know, in their 4-year scheduled years, but sometimes some of our students face some troubles and face some difficulties. But I will tell you that I admire those students who stick with it, work hard, and keep going regardless of the obstacles they face. And so I'm very proud of these students that we're going to announce. We're going to announce several of them, only a few are here, but we're very proud of these students and the work that they put in to go ahead and get their diploma, even though they face some adversity. So first, Oscar Cerna. Sierra Reyes. Gabriel Campos. Come on. Cameron Brown. Tremaine Cooper. Naya Gutierrez. Malcolm Shannon. Julissa Cantu Salinas. And Jesse Vega. Again, it is a testament to their character that they kept working even after the finish line, and so we're very proud of the work they put in and congratulate them.
You got your picture?
No, stay there. Stay there.
Dr. Jackson?
So we would like to take this time to present to our board a small token as we embark upon one of the largest building plans in the history of our district. We all know how much everyone held Bulldog Stadium in their hearts and minds, and this small gesture is meant to remind us all of the wonderful times and great memories of the former stadium. And it certainly should point us to the excitement and optimism of what the new stadium and educational complex will bring to our district in just a few short months. Thank you, board, for your continued support, and we look forward to a very strong and bright and optimistic future. And we have just the token. Just a little square. Okay. Take it to the head. And we have one for our board members that are not here.
Congratulations again. All right, we will move to action item 6, public comment. The board will now hear those who wish to make comments or who have completed in return the public comment participation request. This section will be conducted in accordance with the Open Meeting Act and board policy. Complaints and concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be directed through those channels. Mr. Shoppy, do we have any registered speakers?
No, sir, Mr. President.
Please note for the record, we do not have any registered speakers, so we will move on. And we will go to item 7, administrative reports.
Good evening, board members. Mr. President, as summer nears its end, I wanted to provide you with a summary of the many great things that have happened over the past couple of months. First, while school was not officially in session, the hallways, courts, and fields at several of our campuses were buzzing with student activities. Between our STEM, fine arts, and athletic camps, hundreds upon hundreds of students found themselves enjoying much of the summer at our facilities. All of LaPorte ISD students will return to school next week, August 14th for 9th graders and August 15th for everyone else. And they will be welcomed by a staff that has spent much of the summer honing their skills through various professional development opportunities. That professional development kicked into high gear this past week when new teachers and our veteran staff returned. It will wrap up this Thursday at LaPorte University, a full day of professional development opportunities and fun on the LaPorte High School campus. I'm proud of the work of our human resources team, principals, and hiring managers, and they've put in the work that they have put into staffing our 13 campuses. You will hear from HR tonight, board, but we wish to publicly thank and recognize them for their efforts. Equally, we appreciate the academics and the business office and all others that are for supporting our professional development efforts all this summer. Finally, if our 2023 convocation was any indication, the entirety of our LaPorte ISD staff is extremely excited about the start of school. On behalf of the administration, teachers, and staff, we would like to thank our board and LaPorte ISD stakeholders for your continued support as we prepare to continue our legacy of excellence in the 23-24 school year. And this will conclude my report, but Mr. President, I do have a couple of folks that we would like to introduce to the board tonight.
Yes, sir.
If I may. Mr. Jaime Arispe, we have some assistant principals. Let's give him a hand. Mr. Jaime Arispe. We are excited to welcome Mr. Jaime Arispe to James H. Baker's 6th grade campus, where he will serve as an assistant principal for the upcoming school year. Mr. Arispe comes to Baker having served as a history teacher, head track coach, and varsity football coach at LaPorte High School since 2017. Prior to coming to LaPorte, he taught and coached in the San Antonio area. While at LPHS, he was named Campus and District Teacher of the Year in 2021. In the same year, he was the Texas winner of the National Daughters of the American Revolution Outstanding Teacher of American History. Additionally, Mr. Arispe was a member of LaPorte's inaugural Aspiring Leader Academy cohort. He has also served in the high school's CPOC and Attendance Task Force committees, the LPISD DEIC Committee, and the Leadership Task Force. Mr. Arispe holds a bachelor's degree in social studies from Abilene Christian University and a master's degree in educational leadership from Stephen F. Austin State University. Additionally, he holds certifications in 8 through 12 social studies, E through 12 physical education, and a principal certification. Mr. Arispe is very excited for the opportunity to continue to serve LaPorte ISD in this new capacity. Please join us in welcoming him. I mean, if you brought guests, you may introduce them now at this time.
Yeah, so I have my wife, Elizabeth, and my wife. Come up here.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And then my daughter Lily, and then Mateo Catalina.
Oh.
I didn't know. I think my son asked her to come up.
Well, we're very happy to have you in this new role. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Board, we're equally happy to introduce or reintroduce and welcome back to the LaPorte family, Miss Jessica Rose, Assistant Principal at James H. Baker, 6th grade campus. Miss Jessica Rose has been selected to serve as the Assistant Principal at James Baker, 6th grade campus for the 23-24 school year. Ms. Rose has been an educator for 21 years, with 6 of those being here in LaPorte as an assistant and associate principal at the secondary level. Prior to this new role, she has served as principal, instructional coach, content specialist, and teacher. Ms. Rose holds a Bachelor's of Science in Interdisciplinary Studies, Mathematics, Specialization, and a Master's degree in Educational Administration from Texas A&M University Commerce. We're delighted that Ms. Rose is returning to LaPorte ISD and the Baker leadership team. Please join me in welcoming her one more time. Do you have visitors you'd like to introduce?
I do. They've asked me not to come. So I have my husband Dale and then my son Luke.
All right, thank you all for being here. Welcome home, Jessica.
Thank you.
Next, we're proud to equally introduce Miss Alicia Perales, assistant principal at Lomax Elementary. Let's give her a hand as she comes. We're proud to introduce Alicia to her new role as assistant principal at Lomax Elementary. She has served as an educator for 12 years. 11 of her 12 years have been here in LaPorte ISD. She has most recently served as the ESSER interventionist at Lomax Elementary. Prior to her work as an interventionist on campus, she served as a 2nd and 4th grade teacher at Lomax. We are proud to share that Alicia is also a member of LaPorte's inaugural Aspiring Leadership Academy cohort. We are growing our own leaders. She is a graduate of the University of Houston Clear Lake, where she earned her bachelor's degree in education in 2011. She earned her master's degree in educational leadership from Lamar University in 2021. And she is excited to continue to serve the Lomax Elementary community and is looking forward to her new role as assistant principal. Let's give her another hand. Would you like to introduce any family or friends?
Well, I let my husband stay home with our 1-year-old and our 3-year-old. They are tucked nicely in bed right now.
All right,
But
well,
thank you.
welcome home.
Thank you.
And last but not least, board, we would like to introduce you to Mr. Tremaine Wycliffe, assistant principal at LaPorte Junior High. Come on up, Mr. Wycliffe. Tremaine Wycliffe has served as a public school administrator for the past 23 years. Prior to joining us in LaPorte, he was the principal of Crossroads High School, a disciplinary alternative education program in A-Leaf. His role, in his role, Mr. Wycliffe charted the newly formed school and implemented a variety of successful student-focused initiatives aimed at assisting and inspiring at-risk youth while building positive relationships and establishing high standards for all. Prior to his principal role in the DAP setting, Mr. Wycliffe served as an assistant principal at Hastings High School. Mr. Wycliffe holds a bachelor's degree in liberal arts and sciences from Texas State University and a master's degree in educational administration from Prairie View A&M University. He has also received extensive training through Rice University's Education Entrepreneurship Program, that's the REAP program. Mr. Wycliffe is an active member of Raise Your Hand Texas and a forward-thinking champion of Texas public schools. Mr. Wycliffe is excited to begin a new journey in LaPorte and looks forward to being a member of our team. Let's welcome him again. Did you bring any guests with you, Mr. Wycliffe?
My wife and kids stay home, but I have all my guests in the back, all the principals, the central administration, who have pretty much embraced me and have been great asset and good help for me, so I thank you guys.
Welcome. Can we call all of the assistant principals back? We'll take one nice photo, group photo. And with the board.
Ms. Viator, you're up.
Well, good evening to our Board of Trustees, President Hanks, as well as Dr. Jackson. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and talk to you about our staffing, our current staffing in the district. We are very excited to talk about this. There's a handout for each of you, and there's just a narrative to start with, just has some details, and then the next few pages are some tables and charts regarding resignations and retirements by location. And then the next chart would be new hires by location, and then just a conclusion. And so I just want to say just this evening, just everyone in LaPorte has worked together very diligently to staff our campuses and our departments for this upcoming school year. And as you're aware, and again on the Today Show this morning, talking about teacher shortages, severe teacher shortages, and we know around the state and in our country, there are lots of schools that are going to start without teachers. And lots of people are having a lot of difficulty staffing. And as a matter of fact, the report, and some of our principals even sent me this data, that there's a national report that says there are 300,000 teachers left the profession last year. So very staggering, and we know with this level of attrition, we need to do everything we can to recruit and hire and keep our quality staff. So with that being said, we're really proud of the coordinated efforts everyone that have taken place throughout the spring and the summer to staff. And so just want to give a quick note that last year we attended 14 job fairs. This year we attended 25. We even left the state and we went throughout the state, and a lot of our principals and our department heads came and supported those efforts as well. We also hosted 2 job fairs here in the district, one in the spring, one in the early summer, just to really capture that recruiting, all that we could, and just to attract all of the educators we could to LaPorte. Just a report on teachers. I will say we're very proud to say that we only have 1 vacancy at the high school. Every other campus is staffed, and the high school is staffed to that point. So we've hired a total of 86 teachers and 19 professionals over the spring and summertime. So that is quite an accomplishment, and I'm going to say these are outstanding teachers. I know that many of you were able to attend convocation as well as our new teacher luncheon, and so we really feel like we have some very high quality staff. I've heard great things from our principals, so that includes, the professionals would include counselors and administrators that were hired, and that's 19 of them. And so that 1 vacancy, I talked to Mr. Grammer today, and really what they're looking at is they're still looking at their master schedule to see if they even need this FTE, this full-time employee. So we're still looking at that, but we do have a plan to have a certified sub in that position if it is needed, but they're still looking at that, and I just wanted to make sure you knew we were going to continue to recruit for that 1 vacancy. Okay, on to the paraprofessionals, just to give you a brief update. To date, as of this evening, and we were still hiring just a little bit ago, we really thank our coordinator, Alex Poss. She's really headed up that effort with our principals. We've hired 33 paraprofessionals, which include classroom paras as well as clerical staff. This is significantly less than last year. We hired 52 paras last year at this time. So that means we retained a lot more paraprofessionals this year, which is the testament to our principals as well as our campuses, and a lot of our paraprofessionals have given us great feedback about the professional development that was offered this year and last year to start the school year. They feel very equipped. I talked to Ms. Trader, our executive director of support services, and she said she's getting great feedback from our paras about that, which is a good thing. And so we're really pleased with that increased retention rate. We're going to continue to work because we do have 12 para positions that are not filled at this time. We have plans in place. Number 1, we have people who are substitute paras for us that are willing to fill quite a few of those positions. We have interviews going on this week. Some of our principals are interviewing, and our special ed department, it's all hands on deck to get this filled, if we, to help check references, to help interview. So we're working on that. We're also going to be holding a para educator course August 22nd through 24th. For those interested. There were 2 opportunities at San Jac, and a lot of people took advantage of that, but we are still having people ask about this paraeducator course here in LaPorte. So our plan is to try to fill that class and then have a hiring event right after that to be able to fill those positions. We're pretty confident. Not to mention, when I was talking to Ms. Trader this morning about these positions, we're confident that we're going to be able to meet the needs of the students from day 1. Just to give you a brief report, and I added this in even after y'all's report, just the manual trades. I just want to give you a brief report about that, and probably Ms. Rice and Dr. Bromley might be able to be a little more thorough, but as far as bus drivers, we've hired 10 additional bus drivers that have accepted positions. That is amazing. And that is to go with our 45 already on staff. Just to give you just a little taste of how many bus drivers that we do employ, which is amazing. We're still looking for a couple of more, and it's my understanding that people are still in the trainee position, that piece, and they're still looking to get their CDL requirements taken care of. So I know that they've said many times, Dr. Bromley has even reported, and Mr. Marler, that we're in a very good spot and feel like we're in a better spot than we've been in a while. So that's promising. So it's kind of a testament to what we're continuing to do with our compensation. There is one bus monitor vacancy as of today. We're going to work to fill that. I know that we have subs that come in and support us, some of our retirees and things like that. Nutrition has a few vacancies. They always work very diligently to fill those. Crossing guards, that's an area we've recently hired some crossing guards, but we still have some vacancies there that we're going to look to fill. There have been several security assistants hired over the past week or so, and so I think we're looking at maybe one vacancy there for security assistant. And then finally, custodial. Mr. Kinney and all of our custodial supervisors are working very hard to get fully staffed for that, but we have a couple of vacancies there. But they usually do make it work with our substitutes. As I said, there's some charts here with some specifics by location, and we did break it down between resignations and retirements, the difference between those, so that you could see them. I want to say that resignations could include people who are leaving the profession, moving away out of the area, possibly going to another district. Some of them are promoted to, these don't include our promotions, but they could include people who are promoted outside of the district, maybe to a position we don't offer, parent assistant engagement or something like that. So that's that resignations. And retirements, clearly they've completed their TRS paperwork, and we're happy for them. And we would have honored them at the service awards. And the next page would be the new hires by location. And sometimes you look at that and say, wait a minute, how come they don't match resignations? There's different reasons for that. One, some promotions are not in there, and so we have promotions. Some transfers, things like that. So and sometimes we've added a position that was approved through our budget. For example, counselor clerks, the 2 counselor clerks that were approved, things like that that you may not, you say, how could there be some new hires that don't add up? So that's kind of how that happens. And then finally, just a few more accomplishments. And, you know, I could brag for a very long time about our campuses and our hiring managers and what a great job, and my team, of course, and everybody working together. I talked to principals, I talked to Mr. Burke, I talked to Coach Thompson, and of course, I told you I talked to Ms. Trader. They all stated they were just really excited about the candidates that applied this year, and just the quality of that and how we were able to recruit together and work on those things. But I do want to make this note, because this is something we talk about each year, is our team did work very efficiently and early, and that was because of some things that you all and Dr. Jackson put in place, which were the early exit incentive that we had in place again this year. 20 people did take advantage. Perhaps they were retiring or they knew they were moving on, so that allowed us to hire early with that 20, and that was before spring break. So. And then to go hand in hand with that is you all approving the authorization for Dr. Jackson to have the authority to hire starting late April when we had that board meeting, and we were able to do that hiring throughout, of course, notifying you as we were doing it. But that certainly helped us, because we even heard from teachers that said, I don't know, I had been contacted by another district, but they don't have a board meeting for 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm going to go ahead and take this interview. And we were able to get teachers that way for being able to hire right away. Another accomplishment, we increased our social media presence. That was a goal of ours. We did it last year, but we did it even more again. And you know, with Facebook ads, our communications department has supported us a lot with that. Just some different things you probably see. We have our HR Twitter and our Instagram, so we do encourage everybody to follow those things. I talked about an increase in the presence at job fairs. We did streamline communication with departments and making sure that we were really doing everything we could to be on top of things, and really it was 24 hours or less turnaround when someone had recommended someone to get them the job offered and to get their things going. And that's important when everybody's competing for the same teachers. Just really getting to know, you know, Dr. Rhodes and Alex, they were both in the department they got to see a hiring season, so everybody knew them, and so everybody had great relationships, so we were able to have good communication with everyone in getting candidates that the campuses needed. And finally, just another accomplishment, and we talked about, so you saw some of our current administrators that were part of our aspiring leadership. We have 3 additional, they were the people who were in the aspiring leadership who were able to take on new leadership roles. So we're really proud that we're able to offer that to our team, and we're going to do it again this year, so we're excited about that. But I just want to thank everybody for their hard work, and thank you so much for allowing us to report on our hiring. And you know, one more thing that I wanted to say about the District of Innovation Plan. We know that we're a DOI district, and one thing that's so great about that is we're able to have some flexibility to hire a few teachers when needed, that for their work, for example, our auto tech teacher, for their work history as well as their some of their other accomplishments that they have while they're working on their certification. So just want to thank y'all for the time to be able to talk to you tonight.
Thank you and good job.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah. I had a question about, not to cherry pick any particular school here, but how many, like College Park Elementary, I see 5 para resignations. Was that all of them? How many, or does that include secretaries at the front desk?
Well,
or?
it does include secretaries, clerks, and everybody. Because there was a retirement. That was one that you see right there. There was a retirement of the clerical staff. But I will also say that those resignations, she has the ECC, the ECSC program, and pre-K. So when you look at her list in position control, it's almost double, sometimes triple some of the other campuses. So that's kind of why you're seeing a few more resignations there.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Russell? Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
We'll go to 7C, the bond update. Dr. Bromley.
First time in a long time we can say we only have 1 vacancy in transportation, or 2 vacancies. That's really exciting. All right. Good evening, Board President Hanks, Board of Trustees, Dr. Jackson. Tonight I'll just be giving a brief update. I did leave a packet on your table there that will follow the presentation pertaining to where we are in the bond. There's a lot going on. I'll start there. Obviously, you know, visually you can see the stadium, and you know, the demolition has started on that. We're getting close to wrapping that up here by the end of August. But I do want to talk about all 3 of the different propositions and kind of where we are on planning and some of the things that we've already done. So Proposition A, obviously at the forefront, is our campuses, and then safety. So we've already started to initiate, and some of this work was done before the bond, but is now proceeded into the new bond with the security-resistant film. Throughout the elementaries, that will be complete here at the end of August, and we've got some secondary campuses to wrap up also. A part of that, additionally, is the fencing. If you remember, I think I've talked to you guys about the safety standard that we have to be up to by September 15th by the state. So those are all the exterior doors have to either, one, have security-resistant film and or a non-scalable, at least 6-foot fence that is there that's non-scalable. So we're looking at all our current fencing and trying to go through that process of what is going to be updated so we can be up to the par on that standard by September 15th. So a lot of work is being done. Over the summer we did a lot of that. As far as campus projects, painting is at the forefront. Jenny Reed got an entire makeover this summer. Currently, right now, as we speak, Bayshore, well, this week, Bayshore and Heritage are getting some touch-up components in their main hallways. This will be continued work as we move. The tough thing about painting is when kids get in the building, there's not much we can do because we can't have them work nights because the kids have to be there. So now we look at breaks with Christmas, and then we move into spring break, and then summer is another big ticket item for us to plan out and get those buildings painted. Additionally, we're looking at ordering our furniture and playgrounds. Those are put at the forefront. We've already communicated with principals on what that looks like, so hopefully we can get those in and start to install those. So that's really phase 1 as we get to it. Remember, we've allocated $2 million a year through the bond to put into our campuses for projects. Okay. Questions on Prop A?
Yes, I'm sorry. Do we have
Is there a backlog for the playgrounds? Like, are we delayed
Yes,
on
so
those?
15 to 25 weeks is what we're
Okay.
being told.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad.
I believe I may have already asked this, but for the project like redoing Lomax Junior High's gym and stuff, where are we at time frame wise on doing
I'll
those
have to
things?
talk to you about that.
Oh, I thought that was prop based.
Yep, it is, you're right. I put it with projects, I'm sorry. Any questions furthermore on A besides Lomax? B, real quick, so Eddie and his team has just been getting after it. You know, as soon as we went through the summer and you guys pushed the approval green light on us purchasing laptops, they got started. So at this point, every one of our staff members, when they start the first day of school, will have a device in their hand. The students will have a device in their hand, all the way down to kinder. We've got projectors and sound systems fully installed in all of our classrooms. Our technology baseline with the monitors and the different components are in place. We've got some training to do. We've got some configuring to do, but he moved and his team moved in light speed. So I'm very proud of them. He's not slept, so, you know, nonetheless, such positive feedback. You know, one thing that Dr. Jackson charged us with, me with, to ensure is we get things in their hands immediately so they can feel the bond. And obviously, by way of technology, we're able to do that. So C, Bulldog Stadium, obviously it's the forefront, it's the diamond jewel of the project or of the bond. We started demolition right after the approval of GMP 1, so on July 10th. As of pretty much the ending of last week, we're at about 80% of completion of demo. So a lot of work has been done. Really the next piece on what that will be is they'll start to dig the underground utilities up. We've got some work with Centerpoint where they got to come and remove some gas lines and cap those things off so we can fully get that ready. So we're anticipating having the demo fully wrapped up by the end of August, moving into September. The next project that you'll see starting to move out there is as we start to put in our detention. We've had lots of talks about detention and some of the things, and I'll put an image up there for you just to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to see and how we're going to do it. The system that we're using is an ecosystem. It's much like a crab trap, that's what it looks like, or an old milk cart, similar to that. They're boxes, they stack on each other, you dig down and they absorb that water and they hold it and allow the water to build up before flooding or so forth. So we'll start in the south parking lot or the junior lot. You'll start to see that work starting here very soon, and we'll be putting that detention in. And as you can see on that picture, we'll also have a huge detention piece. Now, you don't see this. I say detention and we may think of what's next to the administration building. It's not like that. It's not going to be dug down with terrible weeds in it and a fence around it, and it's ugly, right? We'll be putting concrete back on top of this and surface back on top of this. You won't even know necessarily that it's there per se. But we'll be working that out. That's going to be a big deal for us. We've got to get that in place before we start to build around that. And again, I say this over and over, we've gone above and beyond on our duty as far as maintaining water to ensure that we can control that and feel good about ourselves as we move through this process. Lomax Junior, we will begin the planning, and that is Prop A, in September. So we'll be working with the campus, and we'll start that process on building out those renovations and that competition gym that we'll be putting in place there. Additional projects, not necessarily part of the bond, but just to give you an update. Turf field, the auxiliary field, the turf's complete. They're practicing on it. They're loving it. We're very proud of it. The final light will be installed here hopefully tomorrow, but by the end of this week we'll be putting that up, so the lights will be fully installed. The scoreboard's coming next week. We'll get that up, and then we've got the fencing to put up and then to get the bleachers in place. So we will have that ready to go to the best of our ability for our home games to be played in there on the underlevels and soccer and all that during the time in which we will be out of Bulldog Stadium. Additionally, that will be coming to you soon for approval here. For Lomax, we'll be doing some updating of the track. Remember, our track students, they don't have a place, they're home, so they'll be going to Lomax, and we've got to get it to the standards that, that allow our kids to have the best ability to get prepared for different competitions. So we'll be adding a D-ring there. We'll be looking at the track surface. We'll be scraping that and redoing that, and then repairing long jump, triple jump, and adding a pole vaulting lane at that competition site.
Where are you going to add the D-ring at?
North side.
North side?
Yes.
Isn't there a big drain right there?
There is. That's a problem that we're trying to work through. Yes. Okay, that's for the bond. Any other questions on the bond?
How's all the bidding process going for it all? When does that all wrap up and stuff, like for the turf, for the track, for all that kind of stuff?
So all that was through the GMP through
They do it all?
Tellison. All through Tellison.
So the only thing that we per se pulled was those lights, that sound system piece, some of those items like that.
But it looks good.
Go ahead and move to safety.
Yeah, if you could walk off and walk back. So
Go back. Okay, real quick, just wanted to give you an update on where we are as far as all the safety things. And I told the campus leaders as we started here back in August, you know, we're to a point that nothing should necessarily be new to us. It's now just about taking what we have and just kind of sharpening our edges of it and training further, because that's really the basis of who we are, is training our people and then drilling what we are supposed to do, roles and responsibilities. A big push and something we feel very comfortable to say is we'll have an SRO on every campus starting this school year. We'll be pushing and ensuring that we have that. Just remember that's by way of we'll be hiring off-duty police officers to come in and fill slots throughout the day, right? Baker will have a full-time, and then our elementaries will be put together or piecemeal, shall you say, by off-duty officers. But we feel confident to say that we will have an SRO. It may not be the same one, but we will have one throughout the day at our campuses. Talked a little bit about the security-resistant film. I'll skip that. Fully integrated crisis alert system. I'm very proud of this piece because to me this is what I feel separates us, and I feel like we have given our staff, our leaders, administration especially, the ability to protect themselves in an event of an emergency. In the past, we had our phones and we still have that, but a lot of times most of our communication was still by way of possibly a PA. We pushed out our SRPs, so that is our standard response protocol, hold, secure, lockdown. All those components that we practice are now on our phone systems. Our campus administrators, our counselors have that, and we'll be putting more of those on the campus in designated locations. When a staff member hits one of those buttons, the PA in the facility sends all kinds of signals. An alert goes off with a sound, and they've tested this. We've been having fun. And it starts to talk, so nobody has to do the talking for us. So if we initiate a secure, when that button gets hit, the siren goes off and it says, secure has been initiated. At this time, please move inside. So the person, the administrator, can now protect themselves, hide if it's a lockdown. They do not need to engage other than hitting a button and then protecting themselves. So the silent panic piece is something that was mandated by the state that we pushed out, but that's the sidecar, and that's the photo here to the left. You can kind of see the top is the 5 to initiate, and there's an all clear, and then the bottom is for them to do their drill. So when they do it, it just says it's a drill. To me, this is next level. I'm in a lot of circles, and people are asking how we're doing this, and how can they learn how to do it, because it's just exceptional, and I'm very proud of it. It has nothing to do with me. I'll go back to Eddie, Brad Rogers, his team has really spent a lot of time on this. The last part that connects to it, which is an item for you guys to approve possibly tonight, is the wearable panic button. So what that does for us, it's the last layer in my opinion, because it's going to connect to custodians, it's going to connect to maintenance and so forth. We have the ability to initiate the panic alarm by a wearable badge. They have it on their phones already in their classrooms, but it's one extra layer. If I'm on the playground, I don't have to run in to go hit a button. I can hit my wearable panic button. It's going to send alerts to specific groups. If I hit it 3 times, if I sit and just continue to hit it, it's going to go to a bigger audience, including LPPD and so forth. So that is the last piece of the puzzle. That would be the last addition that we would have in our per se safety package. So that's obviously an item for discussion tonight. But I'm excited about this year. We're really pushing our practices into the classrooms. On the first day of school, or within the first week of school, we'll be talking about all our standards and our practices with our teachers and our students, or teachers to our students, and we'll be sending some communication out to the parents on what those things mean. So it kind of brings it full circle with what we're trying to get done. Any questions for me?
I'll use you as an example. Say you're at Lomax Junior High, and then you go over to LaPorte Junior High. Is your badge still going to be able to enact the same things as administrator, IT, maintenance?
So we can set them to where there'll be district-wide activation, or you're identified at a campus, right? The central administration staff will not have one. So Dr. Jackson, myself, Dr. Brown, right? Because in our building, every one of our phones in our building have the SRP that you see. on campuses, teachers on their standard phone have a silent panic button that they can push, but they do not have this where it engages things. So that's why they need that badge piece.
But I would think if you're the one walking into Lomax Junior, I mean, I understand they're probably expensive, but if you're the one walking into LaPorte Elementary and you're the one that sees somebody, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean,
At this point, you're going to have to get and notify that. You talk about like myself or Dr. Jackson,
Yeah.
Dr. Brown. Yeah, I mean, we would have to get to a point to
is
locate
it that much more to get it for administrative? I mean,
We're not doing it because we can't afford it, it was just we already had access to it.
Right.
That's another area.
But we could look at adding that for us. But all the other ones, everybody else is covered per se.
Any other questions? Ms. Brown, we've got a STAR 2023 update.
Good evening. Good evening, President Hanks, members of the board, Dr. Jackson. So this evening, I am going to present to you our latest STAR data. This came to us last Friday, and so this is raw data that I want to show you for grades 3 to 8. And you should have a copy of the slide deck at your table. So looking at grade 3, the way the chart is built, you'll see that we have the state score, which is in yellow, the approaches, meets, and masters, the district, and then we have it by our 7 elementary campuses. Again, if it is in green, you'll see that we were above the state in terms of our approaches, meets, and masters, and you'll see the other colors in a second. But grade 3, we did an excellent job across the board.
I'll go ahead and make a comment on that. Just looking at that data right there, and I hope y'all might invite some of the reading language arts 3rd grade teachers from College Park and maybe do some district-wide professional development, because they did an awesome job there.
True. Grade 4, across the district, we were above in approaches of the state. We are just a couple of points below in meets and a few points below in masters for grade 4 reading language arts. Grade 5, we were above the state with approaches. This is reading language arts. For meets, we were above the state, and then we were at equal with the masters. So grade 5 language arts, our teachers did exceptionally well also. Grade 3 math, you will see that the state, we were above the state in approaches, above the state in meets, and we were equal to the state in masters. Again, our grade 3 math teachers did an awesome job. Just a reminder, remember this was the test STAR 2.0, STAR redesign. So this is a test that was redesigned for this year. So we are very proud of our teachers, our administrators for the hard work that they did this past year with our data. Grade 4, we were above the state. This is math in approaches and meets, and we were a few points below in masters in grade 4 math. Grade 5 math, we were above the state in approaches, in meets, and masters. So great job with grade 5 across the board.
Just based on that data too, I think all our grade 5 math teachers should do a Region 4 professional development.
That's right.
But anyway.
Grade 5 science, same thing, exceptional job with our approaches, meets, and masters. We're above the state in all 3 areas. Grade 6 reading language arts, Baker, we were at the approaches of the state at meets, and we were a point above in masters. So kudos to our grade 6 Baker teachers, DLA team. Grade 7 reading language arts, You'll see that for our 2 junior high schools, we were above in approaches, above in meets, and above in masters. So kudos to our 7th grade ELA team on both junior highs. Grade 8 reading ELA, we were above in approaches with the state, a few points below in meets, and a few points below in masters in grade 8. Grade 6 math, we were above the state in approaches, meets a few points below, masters below. Grade 7 math, we were below the state in all 3 areas. Just to preface this data, about 150 of our grade 7 students are advanced math students, so those 7th graders actually take the 8th grade math test. So we pull all of our advanced math 7th grade students out of this mix, so they take the 8th grade. So when you look at this data and you think about other districts, they have an option of either having those advanced math take the 7th grade test or the 8th grade test. So here in LaPorte, we have our 7th advanced math students take the 8th grade math.
Do we know a breakdown how many do that, like between one option or the other?
We, normally when I go to Region 4 and we meet as a group of CAOs, curriculum folks, we talk about that, but no one in Region 4, but I can ask them, have ever had a data on which way the districts take that. Grade 8 math, we were above in approaches, a few points below in meets, and a few points below in masters. Grade 8 science, we are above in approaches across the state, a few points below in meets, and a few points below in masters. And then grade 8 social studies, we were above in all 3 areas, approaches, meets, and masters in grade 8 social studies. So September 28th is our date. The data that I just shared with you is actually the data that has not been cleaned. When I say cleaned, when they gave us the data in last Friday, that does not exclude any students who came after the PEIMS date. So after the October PEIMS date, the state takes those students out of the district's numbers. Those students are not included in this. So every student who was seated and took a test in LaPorte is on the numbers you saw this evening. But the date for TA giving the district accountability ratings will be September 28th.
But y'all have a way to pull that yourselves, right? And kind of look at the numbers.
What we don't have now is the cut scores. Remember, we talked about how the accountability now, they have like the lows and the highs. Mm-hmm. So we're waiting on what those cut scores will look like. So what we do have is just right now students who are at meets, approaches, and masters. But in terms of those cut scores, we don't have that definite number yet.
But what I'm saying is like you know which ones came after the snapshot date that y'all can pull it yourselves and be able to
schools can pull it
try and get
themselves
the
right
percentages.
Now. You're right. Schools can pull it themselves.
So parents will be able to view it after that September 28th date. That's I hope y'all out very much.
September 28th, can parents view it?
But the elementary is August 16th.
August 16th, parents can view it. But for district accountability, when they say A, B, C, D, E rating, we won't get that to the
Okay, so August 16th.
August, and we'll send that out to parents to let them know it's ready.
No, I was just making sure y'all were going to have it going to the school year to know where your students.
Right. We'll have it in family access so they can link to it too.
Any other questions?
Questions on that? So I want just to share with you quickly our 2024 vision. We, again, are very proud of our teachers and our administrators on the work, the hard work they did, and the academics team and everyone who worked hard this past year with Star Redesign, getting our teachers, getting our students ready. So again, these are the 4 pillars this year. We are not doing anything new. So we are not starting anything new. If you look at the first pillar, Tier 1, we're basically, again, ensuring that our Tier 1 instruction is effective and it's meeting the needs of every student. Tier 1 is our focus, and all of our PDs this past couple of weeks has been on what Tier 1 instruction looks like, with the work of our PLCs, strengthening those PLCs in the schools, and looking at our assessments. How assessments look and how they align to the work that the TEAS and our priority standards. One of the biggest pieces, and Dr. Jackson has talked about this, is literacy and numeracy. we have to start with the foundation, which is literacy and numeracy. So that's a big focus for us. Again, nothing new in terms of instruction other than strengthening Tier 1. SEL, we obviously know this is very crucial in terms of a student's success. We're continuing that. We're working on and building our discipline management plan with the support of a positive, what does that look like in a classroom? That is part of the SEL work that we're continuously doing every day. With our CIS, we have our CIS on board. Those are the community and schools that you all graciously approved to have on each of our campuses. Our counselors, obviously, so the SEL work is still continuing. We continue with our CCMR. That is crucial in terms of our accountability for our high school. We're strengthening with that piece is our GT services and our GT programs. So one of the things that we're working on this year is looking at our GT program and strengthening the work that we're doing from K-12 with GT. The other piece is our STEM work. We know that in the past couple of years we started STEM in our elementary schools. We want to continue that. We are looking at some other partnerships with San Jack and U of H Clear Lake in terms of some STEM work. So we're working on those projects right now in order to strengthen our GT students and the work we do there, and obviously the college career readiness work. And finally, the growth of our teachers and our students. PD is crucial. We planned awesome PDs this past couple of weeks for our teachers as they returned. We have LPU that's coming up in a couple of days. Everything we do is very intentional. The key word is intentional. We want to ensure that our teachers are getting what they need in terms of when they need it. So PDs are based on intentional work and looking at our data and looking at our needs of our teachers and our staff and our schools. We're ensuring that we are building our great pipeline, as you noticed today, with our assistant principals now who are part of the Leadership Academy. We're continuing that work to ensure that we're building the pipeline for our leaders. But those four are our pillars. Again, nothing's new. Everything is building upon what we did last year and continuing to strengthen the work and align the work so everything's intentional in terms of what we're doing for our teachers, ensuring that our teachers have the skill set they need as well as the support they need in the classroom. Questions?
I believe in that training that Danny, Melissa, and I went to, they talked about some of the certifications that I think at the last board meeting we had a presentation of all the different certifications that we have. Aren't they cutting a few of those that we can deem as certificate?
Yes.
I know I mentioned last meeting the Flora certificate. I think at that meeting, Pathways. Are any of those things that they're cutting that we may have excelled in going to hurt us? I mean, I know that's a weird question, but.
No, it's not. That's a good question. So
Weirdly worded, excuse me.
We were prepared. We actually started preparing this past year. So when TEA met with the school districts and talked about cutting some of the pathways and cutting some of those certifications, we already have a plan. So Marissa Lopez, who works with the CTE team, we worked on that last year. So we've got a plan moving into this year and what that looks like. So it shouldn't hurt us. What we do, again, TEA gives us mandates, gives us what we need to do. Our job is to ensure we give LP students what they need. And so our pathways, our certs are what are the needs of our students. So that's why we brought back the Maritime. We know that this area, Maritime, so everything we do is in terms of what's the needs of our students. But we were prepared for that. So we're continuing to plan for that and getting ready for those cuts and those changes.
So, I keep going to flowers. I don't hate florists. But I mean, we had a lot of certificates for floral design. I don't think we should completely ditch floral design, but are we? I mean, one of those things, I know if it doesn't count anymore.
No, we don't. Yeah, we have, floral design is actually also, we're not cutting any programs in terms of the CT. Actually, we added a couple more this past year.
More substantive
yes,
things
more
that count
substantive,
towards
right.
what we need.
Right, and so we don't want to limit our students either, because some of them, in terms of the credit they need, floral design is actually something that the students choose, so we don't want to limit that, take that away soon. So we did not eliminate any of those that, at this point, the state is saying that doesn't count, because looking at our elective courses and what students chose this past year, those are the things that they wanted. We're not going to eliminate it if they need it.
Thanks.
Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Clark Brown.
Conference.
All right, board, we're going to move to item 8, our consent agenda. Determine and approve any consent agenda items. Approve board meeting minutes, regular board meeting minutes from June 13th, 2023. School board meeting minutes, June 20th, 2023. School board meeting minutes, June 27th, 2023. School board meeting minutes, August 1st, 2023. C, receive financial reports for June 2023.
Poll, please.
D, approve budget amendment. E, receive human resources report. F, notice of employment of professional staff. G, receive quarterly investment report for June 2023. H, receive a report of cooperative fees paid by LaPorte Independent School District. I, approve Autism Collaborative Network Shared Services Arrangement Agreement. Wow. J, approve interlocal contract with Harris County Department of Education Center for Safe and Secure Schools. We're going to pull that.
Pull it. Oh, thank you.
K, approve proposals for professional development, consultants, and related services and materials. L, approve purchase of laptops for staff. M, approve purchase of replacement chillers for LaPorte High School and Heritage Elementary. N, approve purchase of security cameras. O, approve purchase of wearable panic badges and hardware. We're going to pull that. P, approve second reading of and adoption of TASB Local Policy Update 121. Q, approve 2023 Certified Anticipated Debt Collection Rates. R, approve 2023-2024 LaPorte Independent School District Code of Conduct. We're going to pull that one. S, approve the 2023-2024 LaPorte Independent School District Student Handbook. T,
Sorry, hold on, please. Sorry.
approve the 2023-2024 Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System, Appraiser Calendar, and TESS list of teacher appraisers. U, authorize the superintendent to negotiate and finalize lease agreement regarding district property. Mr. Sharpie, can you read back the consent agenda?
A, B, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, M, N, P, Q, T, and U.
All right.
Almost said V.
I'll call a vote. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Perez.
We got a little off.
Can I get a second?
Second.
By Mr. Shoppy, a call for a vote.
Is that fine, Chris?
Sorry. Okay.
We're really
Passed
excited.
unanimously. We will go back to our first item that was pulled, which I believe was Mr. Perez.
Yep. Ms. McDowell, I was just curious, how do we go about retrieving the delinquent property taxes? Or do we use the tax attorney? Do they go after that, or how does... And what is our success rate in retrieving those taxes? I mean, it's $3 million. That's a lot of money.
Right, so it's 2.4 million? Is that what you're looking on the first page there?
2.4, and then...
Oh, and then
Yeah,
the debt service.
the debt
also,
service
yes.
one.
Yes. So the delinquent tax properties, we work with Goose Creek ISD, and they are our tax appraiser, and they're not our tax appraiser, they're a tax collector. And so that is their job, is to go through and work with the companies to get those, or work with it's not always companies, it's homesteads also. And so it's an annual thing. I mean, it's a monthly thing. They're always getting it. And so they give us different, part of our financial statements is also how well they're doing and how much they've collected. And so that number will change. And then annually would also, after we've done our audit, we'll look at that. So, but Goose Creek, our tax appraiser, tax collector, is who works to get that.
So whenever someone doesn't pay their taxes regularly and we have to go after them for delinquent property tax, are we having to pay our collection agency more to retrieve that money? And if so, are we paying them a fee, or is this part of our agreement that they're going to go after everybody who owes us tax dollars?
I mean, I think, I don't know that off the top of my head. I can find out that for you and see what the fee structure is and how that works, but let me get back to you on that.
Okay, I was just curious. I went and looked at, oh, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I have not seen your actual agreement, but the cost for the attorneys to go after it is built into the system. So in other words, if somebody owes $1 million and they don't pay it and the attorneys have to go after that, then they add a certain percentage, and I don't remember off the top of my head what it is. And so you're not paying extra for that, it's just being added on to the tax bill.
Okay, I went and looked at the district clerk's website for something, and I typed in LaPorte ISD, and it said LaPorte ISD versus so-and-so versus so-and-so versus so-and-so. And so that's what brought up that question. Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? I seek a motion.
So moved.
Second.
You got a second? Call for a vote. Okay. Unanimous. Thank you. I believe the next item was J. And approve interlocal contract with Harris County. So, Dr. Bromley, how many years have we been with the HCDE? Yes, HCDE.
For a long time.
Okay.
I think going back, and I got to finance today as long as I think 2013, 14, which is about as 12, as far back as we can connect that.
Okay, and have we sought any other vendors? Are there any vendors we could partner with?
Yeah, so we looked in heavily because Trustee Thompson last year asked this very question, do we look at others? So True North was another group that I spent some time with, investigating, possibly bringing them in, as well as Region 4, who's starting up a safe and secure school portion within their group. Pricing was outrageously different, and Harris County spends a lot of time with us, not only doing the actual audit, but when they come back on how we put that into our EOP and how we present that back to the state. They exist fully to a degree of training on safety, but also work with EOPs and the audit process.
That's what I need to hear. Thank you.
I had one question. When we look at the timeline for 2023, 2024, it's 2 elementary schools. Is that what the state requires? Is that their minimum that we require?
So the timeline is every 3 years you go through putting back up an audit to the state. So we just break that apart because it gives us time after the audit to fix it during the time frame.
So we're not auditing every campus every single year.
No, it's in phases over 3 years.
Theoretically, we could. It wouldn't hurt anything, right? I mean,
it's a lot of work in an audit. We turn in upwards of like 120 to 130 pages when we get our audits, and we have to upload those into the state. That's why it's done every 3 years. So,
but I mean, for internal review, we could see. I mean, if the state is only requiring us to do whatever these 5 campus, 6 campus, whatever it is, 5 sites. If we did all of them, we could see where we're deficient, and we would have better audits every year,
we
right?
audit all the time internally.
Okay, that was my question, I guess.
We only upload an audit every 3 years. The state doesn't care how we phase it or how we do it, so long as in the 3rd year we come back and we present all the data. So to kind of keep it fresh, we don't do it all at once because it allows us to build on. And we're currently, we're always trying to fix it. So yes, we may do a couple campuses officially per se on paper and do that, but we're always consistently looking.
Okay, that's what my question. Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you, Dr. Bromley. Any other questions?
Thanks, Doc.
I seek a motion. Need a second?
Second.
By Ms. Crusher, call for a vote. Unanimous, thank you. We're going to go to item O, approved purchase of wearable panic badges and hardware. Yes, you again. So the question is there any plans to incorporate the admin building and special services building?
So as we literally said here, I wanted to confirm with my rep. Everybody will get badges, and it doesn't matter what campus you go to, you can set that alarm off at that campus.
Okay. That's what I need.
Literally, Troy Bennett, my guy.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Thanks, Troy.
You just have to configure it a certain way to ensure that when they go, it connects to that campus.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Troy.
Okay.
Yeah, Troy's good.
Thank you. I seek a motion.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Crutcher. Call for a vote. Unanimous. Thank you. That's the last one for me. So we got R. What was that it, right? Was R the next part?
R's the next one, yeah.
Yep. So approve the 2023 Code of Conduct. So the question is, does this include House Bill 114 that's supposed to begin September 1? And really just, it's about the concern is what are our efforts to educate the staff and the parents about the gravity of the consequence for automatic DAEP if they're caught with a vape.
Right. So the answer of student code of conduct, yes, it's been added in. The change in the legislature just adds in the e-cigarette or the vape non-THC into the mandatory placement piece, which is in that.
Okay.
Additionally, we have put in there the clause that talks about the DAP capacity. So what that means, it gives the campus, the district jurisdiction to identify what is a more severe threat and then place accordingly. So if we have a student who does get caught with a vape non-THC, and it's a mandatory now, yet we have a student that's already currently or capped at our DAP, we can actually place that student in ISS and they do not have to go to the DAP. Okay. So it's covered in the student code of conduct. Actually today, this afternoon, we sent a letter out to the community explaining to them what House Bill 114 is and where we are legally right now and how we have to require that and follow that law. Through Todd Shoppy's office, we'll continue to educate. We started some of that through our Educate series last year with vaping and continue to try to push that piece. On campuses, at all their welcome nights, their talks with their students, they're going to have conversations with that. It won't be the first letter that Doc sends out or any information that we're trying to push out. I know we're also going to work closely with Chris with the possibility of looking at District of Innovation to see if we can put some further layers into that process and gives us a little bit more, power from a local stance to maybe put some things in place before they have to go directly to DEP.
Okay.
What's upsetting about this is if we have a capacity at DEP, which if we follow all directions we are going to, they're learning at DAEP. They're not learning in ISS.
It's a disruption to their...
Yeah, I mean, no offense. I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. I mean, I'm not going to put blame, but they're not going to learn in ISS. I mean, they get the coursework, they get work, and no offense. Obviously, I look 12 years old, so I just got out of school. If you go to ISS, you're getting busy work. You're not getting real substantive work, so it's prohibitive to the students and the instruction of their learning. So
I applaud the state's effort to
I do too.
To curb this. It's necessary. It's getting out of hand. So it's necessary. And I just wanted to make sure that we're doing our diligence to educate, our stakeholders, let them know that, hey, look, this is the gravity of this situation. There are serious consequences, and it's not a little slap on the hand. So
it's something the campuses have taken on. Additionally, we have a support services counselor that's going to be mandated and fully supporting these students with this drug addiction, not just vaping, but others that will spend time with them when they come to DAP and even at home campuses, where we're looking at our entire DAP process to ensure we're doing things appropriately for the best interest of our students.
appreciate it. Any other questions? Okay, I seek a motion.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Call for a vote. That is unanimous. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. So this isn't directly to the changes. I just, as I was going through this, it's more of just an observation. Under page 102, the tardies for elementary school in the student handbook, it states students who enter the building after 7:50, tardy bell will be considered tardy. The students will report to the foyer for a tardy slip, then proceed to class. If arriving after 8 a.m., a parent or guardian must escort the student into the office. I can tell you as a parent of elementary students, you're not just dropping them out the door and letting them go in from 7:50 to 8 o'clock. Those teachers are getting into their classrooms and getting things going. So with the security updates and stuff that we have, there's just a little bit of discrepancy in that time. Parents should be taking their kids in from 7:50 on, because otherwise you're just turning kids loose, in the parking lot. Okay, just wanted to bring that to your attention. Yeah. Okay.
You're okay if we change that though to proceed?
I mean, I know it's not technically what the adoption was. I just wanted to make a comment about it.
Yeah, when we approve this motion, it will reflect that change.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you don't have a motion yet, so you can make that, if you're gonna make that change, then that's what the motion would be.
Okay, the motion doesn't have to be reflective of the changes that were made. That's not, because we're approving the changes that were updated already, so we're just adding.
Right, you're adding.
It's amendment.
Okay, so I need to state that.
Yes.
Crap. Okay, sorry, yay, I'm so excited. Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion now?
Absolutely.
I seek a motion to make the change to the student handbook for elementary level that says students who enter the building after 7:50. It should actually be, any student arriving after 7:50 will be escorted by their parents. Does that make sense?
Yes, but you don't even have a motion to adopt the student handbook yet.
Oh, so we have to do the handbook first.
Well, you can wrap it all up, just you can adopt it with that change.
Make a motion to approve the
Okay.
student handbook
I
with
make
the
a motion
amendment.
to. We're so good at this. Okay. All right, so I make a
So I
motion.
hear a
that we
motion
approve the
to
handbook.
adopt the policy handbook with said changes.
Yep, let's do it.
Yes? Seek a motion? And Mr. Shoppy
I'm not.
has a second. I'll call for a vote. And that's unanimous.
Good job, Melissa.
Rambling.
Thank you, everybody.
You want to leave your number on there, Melissa?
All our pools. Yep.
You want to vote
All right.
yes?
So we'll move on to
You
action
wanna vote
item.
yes?
We'll move on to 9. And we will discuss the notice of intent to apply for a license permit to sell alcoholic beverages within 1,000 feet of a school. So,
We obviously received the notification by way of the city to then bring in front of you. This is an establishment that is asking to sell alcohol, and they'll be located here right at the end of the shopping center, right next to the state. So obviously, the discussion, we think the best interest is to deny that permit. It's opposed to
Whenever we were looking, can we have
Go ahead.
discussion? Go ahead.
Ms. Rionda?
There's some history on this location, because this has come before the board before, back on June 10th of 2014, when we had new managers for the, it used to be called before Aromas or Garios. I think there was a name between that change too. And at that time, the city was seeking, because actually, I think they changed the ordinance to allow variance. And so, because it's within the 300 feet. And at that time, that board then voted to just give information back to the city, because it's going to go for city council. And at that time, the school board said, you know what, we'll just let the city decide it. You know, we're not going to say yes or no, because there was some, you know, we already have a liquor store in that shopping center that is grandfathered in, and I'm more concerned about that liquor store, because you can take the liquor out, whereas in the
I think that's
restaurant,
gone.
you got premise.
Well, there's a vape shop right there.
The liquor store's gone though, right?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
but at that time,
That moves,
at
okay.
that time, it was there was a liquor store there, and down on the shopping center. But this being a restaurant, I mean, you got some, you know, regular as far as monitoring and all that, and can't necessarily take alcohol out. I would just say, just go ahead and, as presidents, just say, give the city notice, let the city know that we did discuss this, and let the city decide it if they want to give it or not, as far as the variance. That's just my opinion. But
Are they seeking a variance or the permit, right? They're
seeking a permit, but-
They're already past the variance stage. I believe so too.
So now.
No, they gotta go to city council. It's not discussed yet at city council till August 28th. But they gotta get city permission too.
But they're asking the school district to
Correct.
determine whether or not we get grant.
Because we are a part of that when it hits that threshold.
And the city's gonna ask, like, what did y'all think? You know, so.
Yeah, no one wants to make that decision, and I understand the implications of having that. It is based off the material we got, it was gonna be a full-service restaurant that did serve alcohol. Go ahead. What were your questions?
25% of its,
What was the percentage?
25% was in alcohol sales in the state of
In
Texas.
Texas.
And other sites, not necessarily. this
Okay.
one.
Yeah, they only have one Texas site, right?
One other Texas site, but there was a line item in there for gaming. What are we considering gaming?
And
Are they here?
Is it a restaurant or?
Can they answer, Danny?
I don't know. Can we have it on this matter?
Yeah, you could ask.
If you want to.
Gaming is just something in there for the franchises and states that might allow any type of gaming, being possible gambling in that aspect.
It appeared that Texas had a percentage of gaming as well. Is that legal in Texas?
I'm not familiar with the
Retail gaming.
But it is on there. It's like 4% or something.
4.7%.
definitely wouldn't want gaming.
Here, obviously with
I mean, I
my
would,
experience
but-
with full-service restaurants, the liquor mix is more the concern than anything. If it's less than 50%, if it's 49% or less, it is a full-service restaurant. It is no longer constitutes a bar, much less a liquor store. So it satisfies that requirement. Now, I understand the implications of, the students going there, but that burden lies on the business owner, because TABC regulates the serving of alcohol. If he were to serve alcohol, he would have the consequences, and then it would be a non-issue for us anyway. So in that particular sense, it satisfies those things, the optics. I would abstain from this vote just because I feel like with doing business in there, I don't know if I should have to, but just being another restaurateur, do I need to abstain voting on that?
It's up to you. I don't think we're required to.
Okay. Just curious.
Were,
Go ahead.
Were any other locations looked at in the city of LaPorte prior to choosing the one that you have to have special permission to?
Yes. We looked at some other locations. This one just fits the model more accurately as far as these. All the others were quite a bit more expensive. And this one also has parking for egress and that type of thing.
Have you owned or operated any other restaurants?
I have.
Any other questions?
I have a question on the gaming component.
Go ahead.
On the gaming part, what are we talking about here in terms of gaming? Slot machines, what?
Well, he seemed a little confused about it too.
The ability, we're not going to have any kind of game. It's just straight food test.
Okay.
What
Franchise agreement.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's contained within the franchise agreement. I'm sure it comes as a package deal typically, so that line item's included when they go to other markets to seek this.
Well, there was a particular line item that said Texas, though, that had gambling in Texas. I mean, it went by state. I'm not sure if I can find it. Doesn't really matter, but.
Well, they're still limited by law.
Well, actually, yeah, I know. It says gaming sales accounted for 4.74% of sales in Texas.
The only games that units that I have visited have it are the ones where the kids play for.
Can we have them come up to the mic, because people may be listening and not hearing the answers. Sorry. For the interest of the people maybe watching.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
So anyway, like I say, the only games that I've seen in the units that I've visited are the games that the children play. They put a quarter in, try and get something out of the machine, that type of situation.
Okay.
We're not even going to have those because normally we need 4,000. The franchise model normally wants 4,000 square feet. This particular unit is only 3,000. So we have to do away with a couple things, and that's one of the things that we're going to admit as far as one of the requirements. We've got a waiver from the franchisor for this.
While it's not necessarily a issue for the board or the district, maybe an issue for you. I don't know if anybody's been to Dairy Queen at 3 o'clock, but that place is full of students, and I don't know that if that's going to be an issue for you if you just want a bunch of high school students. I know if there's a liquor component that the board's worried about, there's going to be an influx of high school students.
Obamas and Agarios had liquor and there was no issues.
And honestly, I can defer here, but we really have no say on any of that. It's just our issue is with the liquor license permit for him to seek.
Yeah, I understand.
So that is the only thing that we can really discuss.
And I can't say for a moment, but Agarios for sure I know, because I knew the owner, and he saw it through the school district. School district said, we'll just leave it to the city, let them decide it. It went to the city approved it, and they had a liquor license to sell. And there was no issue of high school students.
Well, when TABC requires that you post, he's going to have to put up a post saying he's petitioning for a license, and it's going to ask for the exclusion of the school district or a church. So I'm sure that's the part of the process you're with right now, correct?
That's correct.
So he has to get the approval from us.
But you also have to go to city council too.
That's correct.
Yeah.
They instructed me to come to you first.
Right.
You're step 1, they're step 2, and then the state is step 3.
And they're going to ask, what did the school district decide?
Because we're within the confines of that.
It's really
that
us.
zone.
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
You got it.
Discussion? I seek a motion? I'm sorry.
Administration had
made a recommendation.
made the recommendation to oppose.
Okay.
Can we change, I recommend that we approve the
And I'll second
application.
it.
Okay, because there was no formal motion on the floor. It's a recommendation by the admin. We're okay to make a different motion?
Right, you make whatever
Yeah.
motion you want, that was the admin's recommendation.
Right.
You need to be careful that you don't just say so, so moved.
Right, so the motion is,
But he made it clear that the motion is different than the recommendation.
okay. So we have a motion on the floor
Second it.
to approve, seconded by Mr. Yonda. A call for a vote. And it is unanimous. Good luck, sir. Hope it goes well for you.
Good luck.
I don't remember how we did it back in June of 2014, but with either the superintendent or the board president would be sending a notice to the city manager to let them know what. Okay. Okay.
All right, we will move to item B, the consideration of designating a delegate and alternate, it's late. I know y'all are tired. I'm tired. Consider designating a delegate and alternate to the 2023 Texas Association of School Boards Delegate Assembly. So last year, it was Mr. Jeff Martin, and I believe, Russell, you were the alternate. That's why I asked who was going to TASB in September. So I guess we can open if anybody is interested in taking on that responsibility to represent LaPorte ISD.
It's during our session.
I will not be there, so you're,
I'll be there, so.
It does take you time away. I've done it once before. It does take you time from doing some other sections too.
so you're saying it sounds like something Mason should.
I nominate Melissa Crutcher.
So for further questioning, approximately how much time do you think it takes away from the training? Because I still have to get my hours and not being able to go to the last session.
It's been a long time since I did, but I think it...
6 hours.
It does take a good afternoon. I think it started like at 2 to 5 one day and picked about 3. So probably each session's like an hour and a half, maybe at least 2 sessions.
That's not too bad. I'm ahead right now. I just...
So does that sound the interest there?
I nominate Melissa Crutcher.
Okay. Anybody?
Mason is the alternate.
He heard that. You're on the mic.
Okay, well, there's no objection here, so we'll call for a vote for Mason to be our delegate and Melissa to be... I'm sorry. Melissa.
I mean, whatever you want to do,
all in
Danny.
one motion and then have someone second that, I would think,
Okay.
probably.
You do it the way you want.
Okay.
Okay, so I seek a motion.
I make a motion to nominate Melissa Crutcher as our delegate and Mason Paris as our alternate.
I'll second it.
You're not there.
All right, then I call for the vote. It's unanimous, there you go. Represent us well. Okay, we will go to C, consider endorsing a nominee for TASB Board of Directors, Region 4, Position A. We did have some, I know that Miss Rose Avalos had reached out. She's the current representative from Aldine School District.
But that's the B one. That's position B. You're talking about Darlene.
No, Darlene Bro is position 2. She's from A-Leaf.
Okay.
So both of the those that are really seeking our endorsement are incumbents. They're in those positions already. I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, I read the bios. We actually met Ms. Avalos at the Harris County last week. Very nice lady of 27 years.
She's been in there for a long time.
So I have no issue with that, and I don't.
Now with some of the, I don't know, for me, I'm just, with some of the issues that TASB has done or whatever, without them telling me what exactly they stand for and what their positions on things, I usually abstain from this, but it's up to the board what they want to do.
So are we,
This is seeking for an endorsement.
Avalos, Holmes, and James are all running for the same position, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And we're only voting on A?
We're only voting on A on this time. This is item C.
Okay, so would you... No, I don't, no. How would it work? Can we just say a name? We nominate so-and-so and then it gets a second?
Move to nominate one of those 3 people. But you don't, I mean, and you don't have to not let endorse it.
Yeah.
No, we don't, and the only reason I'm speaking was I received, some correspondence. That's it. That's the extent of.
Personally, I mean, again, we're relatively new to our roles. We haven't spent time and we're still learning. I'd say I'm not really for endorsing anybody specific right
And if
now.
I understand correctly, if no one gets that magic number, whatever, it's going to go to that delegate, and you'll probably actually hear them speak and what they stand for, and you get the vote
It
as
gives
the
me a
delegate.
chance
Yeah.
to actually do something with this position.
I know one of them.
So can we take the motion to,
But we don't have to take a vote.
no, that's what I'm saying, so we can table this, correct?
You don't table it if there's no motion.
There's no motion, no motion.
Yeah.
Mason?
I'm fine.
Melissa? Okay, we're gonna go down to, action item 9E. Discuss and consider a voter-approved tax rate election, a VADER.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, yes, we have discussed the possibility of this a few times in different workshops and correspondence. So there's really three options for the district. You have your first option of where we don't hold a VADER. And if we do that, then our tax rates will go down to 0.9739. If the option two is we could hold a VADER for 3 cents, which is our golden pennies, and those are not subject to recapture, so that tax rate would be $1.39 of a penny. And then option three is a VADER for 12 cents, and that tax rate would be $1.0939, where 9 cents of that would be subject to recapture. So our current tax rate is $1.2565. So it's a dramatic drop, and that is due to our second session of the legislation session that decreased our maximum compressed rate 10 cents, 0.1017 cents, and then also increasing the property homestead exemption from $40,000 to $100,000. So that is up. Can I answer any questions for you?
So many. Just kidding. No, it's a real serious subject. Now, in the net impact on a taxpayer with option three seeking a 12 cents VADER, there is going to be a net savings to the taxpayer based off the current, what they're paying this year for taxes, correct?
Right, so I did the calculation for a house that is $350,000 worth an appraised value of that home. And so for in the 2022 tax year that they paid this past January, their school taxes were $3,000. And with option three, which would be the 12 cent VADER, their tax rate would go down roughly $1,000. So their rate would be right at $2,000.
So there's still a net savings. They're going to get the benefits of the legislature where we've compressed property taxes, which all of us are thankful for. This just offsets that to keep us solvent, to make sure that we can look at teacher salaries and compensation in the future, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
But I would like to mention I understand that we're not alternating the tax rate for what we said we were going to do with the bond, but I think it's important that the board understands that it's going to look like we did not tell the truth to the taxpayers and to the citizens of LaPorte when they voted on the bond. I understand it's not true. We did not raise that tax rate. We're not trying to raise that tax rate, but it's going to be a tough sell. I think the district can sell it if the board votes to do the VADER, but I just don't want to lose the trust when we have to go back to the community for something else.
Mason, that's a fantastic point. I completely agree with you. And, we've worked diligently to really root the trust in this community, and I think we've done a good job. And that's what we have to bank on, is tell them that, this was not a There was no misgiving here. This is, the legislature has just recently concluded, the implications have just come out. I mean, we're being forced, now, you can correct me or stop me if I'm wrong, that we have to create our budgets and operating funds as if the election has happened, that is going to happen in November.
Correct.
And that this bill has passed.
Right, so on the ballot in November, both of these changes are constitutional changes. So there will be, the voters have to go in and they have to vote, yes, I want my homestead exemption to go from 40,000 to 100,000. And then they also are going to have to say, yes, I want the maximum compressed rate for my tax rate for the M&O side, the maintenance and operations side, to go from this, what it was this past year, I want it to decrease by another 10 cents. So that's another tax savings for them. However, that would be a part of the whole harmless, so that shouldn't affect the district as much, that 10 cents drop. But the $100,000, that homestead exemption, that equates to $600 million of property value that we lose. So that is, our tax rate with no Vader is going to go down by 16 cents.
And despite the 100,000, we're still going to be taxed on recapture on that 100,000, right?
The homestead part, they take that value out.
They take it out?
Yes.
But we cannot remove our local exemption, which already has us where we exceed the many local districts around us, where we have an additional 40,000 or exemption on the Porte ISD.
Yes, since roughly 1993, the Porte ISD has given an optional homestead exemption to all homeowners. It's 20%. So you take that $350,000 and you take that 20% of that is included in your homestead exemption. So, and we cannot, another law that was passed or that will be signed in, is that no district can take that optional homestead exemption away until at least 2028. So, and that's what some districts are thinking of doing.
So, Ms. McDowell, what other districts in the area are at least thinking or considering this Vader?
Well, every district who has not done a Vader so far, they're all thinking about it. Some are more vocal than others, so we know that Barbers Hill they are on track and they are going to have an August 21st board meeting. And they're going to ask for their 11 pennies. They already have the 1 penny that we don't have. And then Clear Creek is holding community conversations to see, because they're going to hold a bond election and they want to also hold a Vader because they're in the same boat that everyone is. Fort Bend, their Vader did not pass last year. They're planning on potentially going for it again. Everyone is putting feelers out. Everyone is trying, because we're all in the same boat. All school districts are suffering from the same situation where they're trying to figure out how can we provide the best possible education for these students? How can we provide the salaries that our staff deserve? How can we compete with the inflation that's happening in the districts, and in the communities? How can we pay for that? And again, with attendance that has not come back. We're trying to just do everything we can, and so we're bringing this to you because it is something that needs to be considered, and it's the homeowner is going to see a tax decrease, a great tax decrease, and we're all very happy for that. And we're not taking that away. We're not asking to take that away. We're just asking, can we continue to operate, in a capacity to do everything that our students deserve?
If you look at the questions that were asked during the bond, one of the number one questions was, well, can you pay your teachers more? Are we going to pay teachers more? Well, let's use that money to pay the teachers instead of building a stadium. And so that being said, at the time when we were pushing the bond, this had not gone into effect. We didn't know what was coming down the pipeline. So now here's our opportunity to pay teachers like the public was asking. And yes, they're getting a benefit for the homestead. I'm grateful as a homeowner to have that. But I'm also grateful to be able to put back for the teachers too, like we want to, because we do want our schools to have the best educators, to continue to grow our area in the way that we need to. Everyone wants the best in their city, and we can do that. And some of the other communities around us have already done this. And like you said, many are already trying to go for it and have already announced that they are.
Are they on a different timeline than we are? I mean, I know that on our sheet it said by the 11th. How are they just putting feelers out? Are they on a different timeline than we?
No, everybody has followed that same calendar. So, but they've just been having their vocal conversations. They're all, you know, everyone who had never had a Vader before, and went back in April, May timeframe when they were really starting to say, okay, we're thinking about increasing the SCR. And we're thinking about increasing the homestead exemption. That's when the conversations started happening within districts. But no, everyone follows the same calendar. So yes, you're right. August 11th, like a decision would need to be made tonight, because August 11th, we have to post a notice into the paper saying, okay, this is whatever y'all decide, this is going to be the tax rate. And that kicks off the Vader. And so then we would meet again on August 21st, and y'all would adopt that tax rate, and then we would then call for the election. And then in September, we would come back, and our auditing firm has been doing an efficiency audit. We would give you those results of those efficiency audits, because that's part of the requirements of having the Vader. And then that would be posted on the website, and November 7th is when the community would have the ability to go and vote.
And remember, at that time, you're also voting for that homestead exemption.
Right.
So you're going to be voting for multiple things and still getting a break from that.
Yes. So there would be 3 items. Right now, there's currently 2 things related to taxes on the November 7th ballot. There would be, if you choose to have a Vader, there would be a 3rd.
I fully understand the hesitation and concern, especially with optics, and when you're talking about taxes in any capacity, it's always taboo. But we have a responsibility to the children and to this district, and to see that it's solvent, to make sure that we can continue to enrich these kids. I mean, we are their hope. We're their village, and I want to make sure we give them every opportunity. And if that comes with a load of criticism, it comes with a load of criticism. But I would urge anybody that hears this, and once they do hear this, to keep a level head and have a conversation and listen to the facts about why this is necessary. What is it going to do? What are the implications? Because again, the homeowner's tax bill is still going down, regardless if this passes or not. It's quite a bit. It just, we have not, there's no subsidy to offset what was compressed or taken from the school district to the same degree. And it's something that we've got to look. I mean, we got to be able to weather the storm. So I don't want to sit here.
And while we've been doing the bond, we were at that tax rate on the interest and on the maintenance and operations side.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of being able to make sure that we keep as much money in the district to work for not only the taxpayers of LaPorte, but our students and faculty and our paraprofessionals and teachers and administrators. So.
Do we have any other questions? Well, the inevitable is upon us. Seek a motion to approve a voter-approved tax rate election. I'm seeking a motion. Okay, got it. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second by Ms. Crutcher. I call for a vote. It's unanimous. So obviously we're going to have our work cut out for us by no doubt, and I know we just came off a bond, and that was exhausting mentally, physically, spiritually. So this will live up to all of that too. So again, we've got to make difficult decisions. It's a difficult time in our society and as a nation, and this is just one of those times. I do have a little sliver of optimism that the legislators seems like there's some things that may benefit us in the long run, but those just haven't come to fruition, and we can't sit on the sideline and wait and wish. We've got to make things happen. So I appreciate everybody. That we will go to action on closed session items. There are no items. So we'll move to 11, closing comments of the Board of Trustees and the superintendents. Attendance at recent district and community events, announcing upcoming district and community events, and outstanding performance by district staff and students. Floor.
I did attend Lomax Junior High's 7th grade parent-student wrap-up, and I heard about a cool program. I think it was called the Hall Pass. What was it, Dr. Griff? Smart Pass. And if the board members haven't heard about Smart Pass, I urge you to discover it. Maybe Dr. Bromley or Dr. Jackson can send something out. It was a very neat concept that all secondary campuses will be implementing. The other thing is, I think it's important for the board to be cohesive, even if some of other people's opinions are not. Even if we don't all agree, I think it's important that we all come out and be cohesive to the community, and so hopefully that was reflected tonight.
Melissa?
And no, I just wanted to say convocation was great. I love to energize. I want to have a convocation Friday every month in my business now. But it just really made me look forward to this next school year with my children, and you know, it encouraged me to find a way to make sure that they feel ready and enthused, you know, going into the classroom. So I just wanted to say thank you for having the convocation, for the participation that we had from all the schools, for the excitement, and also I wanted to encourage parents to just really approach the school year with the positive mindset with your students, and try to get involved with your PTOs, with your booster clubs, and organizations, so that you're supporting the students as a whole.
Ditto on what she said, and didn't get to make the new teacher luncheon, which I was kind of disappointed in, chicken fried steak. But the breakfast was awesome. And other than that, we all got to have a great school year. It's starting.
I just want to wish everybody a wonderful start to the new school year. I'm sure everybody's going to have a very strong start, and look forward to seeing all the different postings of the first day of school with all the kids and administrators and our support staff, and just hope everything goes well, and wish you all the best.
And I'll just end with what I said the other day. It takes a village. Our village is strong. It's meaningful. It's significant, and we're doing some things. So, especially based off what we discussed moments ago, we need that village to rise up and circle the wagons. So, yes, good luck next week, and we appreciate all the effort and everything you've done this far. No further business.